Alex Jones here, issuing an emergency warning to President Trump. Not a warning out of any desire to hurt you, President Trump, but to save your important legacy and hopefully ensure you can get back into the White House coming up in 2024.
Emergency message to Donald Trump. Daddy, please listen to me. I have an important message for you. That's Alex Jones panicking after he had endorsed Ron DeSantis as the Republican presidential nominee in 2024 rather than Donald Trump. Must have led to some backlash because all of a sudden you have Alex Jones on his knees groveling, begging for Trump's forgiveness in his own special way. Let's watch.
Number one issue that is going to end up biting you in the ass like nothing else is the experimental shot that Fauci and Bill Gates and Birx and the rest of them convinced you would actually save millions of lives and get the economy going when they had brought out their lockdowns. I know why you did it. You've done so many other great things for this nation, and I admire you and I appreciate you, and I want to support you for president. But Ron DeSantis is coming out and admitting that the vaccines don't work. So this is my emergency message to you, Mr. President, to go and actually watch the first 30 minutes of Thursday's show. We'll put a link to it below here so you can see what I said in context. The corporate media edited down a 30-second clip to make it sound like that I'm only for DeSantis and that I've abandoned you. That's not true. It's the contrary. I understand you're under attack. I understand you are surrounded, and I'm trying to get you to reassess the situation.
So according to Alex Jones, his frustrations with Donald Trump has everything to do with the vaccine. But outside of that, Daddy Trump is a very, very good man. He loves Daddy Trump. Daddy Trump has never done anything else wrong. And so he's kind of hinging his excuse on the notion that he was just upset about Trump's promotion of the vaccine, which I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been paying super close attention, but I don't recall Trump talking about the vaccine in recent weeks or months.
Yeah. So I think this is an important story because when we covered it when he first said the criticism of Donald Trump, and I said a comment that some might find controversial, but Alex Jones was one of the few people left on the right wing that could challenge Trump and take away his popularity. So him backpedaling so quickly and back on his knees shows you, nope, Daddy Trump's still in charge. Somehow Trump showed some force there. And what I mean by that is probably it was backlash from his own audience. And Alex Jones is nothing but a con man. So all he wants to do is sell those hormone pills to his audience and get rich. So when he got a sense that, wait, I might not be able to scam him as well unless I'm with Daddy Trump, he immediately went back to where he belongs, on his knees, groveling, licking the ground that Trump walks on. So now we have our answer. Alex Jones cannot knock out Donald Trump. That leaves only Tucker Carlson and Ron DeSantis. So,
I gotta say, Cenk, I'm happy that this conversation came back up because you give Alex Jones way too much credit. And honestly, he was just bodied by that Sandy Hook trial, embarrassed on national television since that trial was televised and it was revealed that his idiot attorneys had accidentally sent an entire digital copy of his cell phone to the plaintiff's attorneys in that case. Alex Jones is super entertaining if you don't take him seriously, of course. But I don't think he has the amount of power that you were, really giving him in the context of that conversation.
Yeah, so that's an interesting disagreement we have. I think that the Republican Party has all become conspiracy theorists, just like Alex Jones. He led the way, and now a giant, not a small percentage, a giant percentage of the Republican Party has lost its mind, just like Alex Jones. So in fact, if you polled him on Sandy Hook, and he said in open court that he was not telling the truth, and Sandy Hook happened, right? But if you polled the Republican Party, not Alex Jones' audience, the Republican Party overall, I bet you over 40% of Republicans, now that's just my guess, but over 40% of Republicans say, oh yeah, Sandy Hook never happened. Because they've lost their goddamn minds. But we can stick with polling on things that have been polled. Over 40% of Republicans say, let's do violence. It's time for violence. They believe in insane conspiracy theories like that Donald Trump won the election. that COVID doesn't exist, or that the vaccines implant chips. Giant majorities of Republicans believe that. So it is Alex Jones's party. I actually think he doesn't recognize his strength enough. If he wanted to take on Trump fully, I think he could win that battle. But apparently he's a coward and has slinked back to his more familiar role of licking boots.
Now we have one more clip from Alex Jones's pathetic video, so let's take a look at that.
I am supporting DeSantis. I see the real sincerity. I'm a DeSantis guy. This is my emergency message to you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I know you've tried to reach out and I missed the call. I'm only for DeSantis and that I've abandoned you. That's not true. It's the contrary.
So that's a good juxtaposition between what Alex Jones had said just a week ago versus what he has said in his latest video. And I hear what you're saying, Cenk. The Teflon Don nature of this is concerning, but we've already known that the Republican Party has become the party of Trump. And honestly, he was losing a little bit of his ability to essentially hypnotize Republican voters. Polls were indicating that there was a sizable portion of the Republican Party that was willing to vote for DeSantis as opposed to Trump. But the FBI raid, unfortunately, did increase his numbers in the polls, even up against Ron DeSantis. So I want to give you that comparison. So the University of North Florida's Public Opinion Research Lab found that DeSantis received the support of 47% of respondents who were registered Republicans, compared to 45% for Trump and 7% who said that they would vote for someone else. So that was before the raid. After the raid, the numbers were a little different. Politico Morning Consult poll conducted following the FBI raid showed it had given Trump a bump with Republican primary voters. Last month, 53% of Republican voters and Republican-leaning independents said that they would vote for Trump in the 2024 primary if it was held that day. But following the raid, it found that the number for Trump had climbed to 57%, while support for DeSantis had dropped from 23% to 17%. So Trump was able to widen his lead over DeSantis to the tune of 10 points.
Yeah, so the Republican voters said, oh, he's a bigger criminal than we thought? Yes, I support him even more now. Now, if anybody should have known that was coming, it was Alex Jones. And one of our YouTube members here wrote in on this issue, Dragonfire20 said, can Alex lick Trump's ass any harder? And my answer to that is yes. Give him a chance, okay? I love this one because it was like emergency message. Need permission to re-enter Uranus. God. That's what Alex Jones is doing. All these fake tough guys. Apparently, all those hormone pills didn't do him any good. He's back to kissing Donald Trump's orange toes and his ass and every part of his body. Go for it, Alex. I love when you humiliate yourself.
No, but the humiliation and wussification of people like Alex Jones can be blamed on the feminists, of course, right? It's the feminists' fault.
And the gay frogs.
Turns out, he always had it in him. That weakness, that willingness to bow down to his daddy. And look, at the end of the day, whether he loves or hates Trump is irrelevant. What he's doing is pandering to an audience. I think it's also partly audience capture, and it's a hell of a drug. There aren't many people who are willing to go against audience capture. Not many people like me. So let's just keep it real. I'm always gonna speak the truth, even though I'm being dragged as we speak for allegedly being a right winger for not wanting innocent people to be assaulted by random criminals on the streets. But nonetheless, it is what it is.
Yeah, the idea of Anna being a right winger is hilarious. Okay, I love people who have never watched A Minute of the Young Turks that know that our motivation, that we're actually secretly right wingers. Anyone who's ever watched the show for longer than 5 minutes, like those are the right wingers. Man, you got a curious definition of right winger.
Well, I mean, look, to be fair, the right wing is known. They're notorious for wanting to decommodify major portions of our economy, major sectors of our economy. It's what they do,
Yeah. And they're always talking about labor unions and how they gotta have more strength and higher wages for the common man. The Republicans won't shut up about it.
They won't.
Okay, show me one show. I'm being quite serious. There's no way that anyone can show us a show that's tougher on Republicans. MSNBC, bunch of jokers. They barely lay a glove on Republicans. CNN, joke. And the other progressive shows, show me one. Show me one that obliterates the right wing as much as we do, okay? So you got a bunch of jokers who pretend to be leftists who never even touch the right wing. So anyways, look, Alex Jones and those guys are very similar. Tie some money to the end of a rope, put it in front of someone's ass, and they'll chase it all day long.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.